Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Alexander of InvestGlass. And in today's webinar, we're going to show you how to build a Robo-Advisor in less than 30 minutes. I'm Alexander of InvestGlass, and it's a pleasure today to show you our latest Robo-Advisory components. Into today's presentation, we will show you first how to set up the fields, how to set up the Robo-Advisor, how to embed the form into your website, how to trigger a digital signature, and also how to set up more automation. InvestGlass, it's an extremely user-friendly solution, partly in terms of COVID. Most of you are still working from home or partially from home. So we are very, I would say, careful about that. Helping you to set up InvestGlass is our priority to make sure that it will work fast and efficiently. What is InvestGlass? InvestGlass is an all-in-one solution, CRM, portfolio management tool, digital contract, rebalancing, and client portal. You see here all the features we have. InvestGlass today is working on more than 1,600 users. It's about 80 companies from Hong Kong to Panama and from the Nordics to South Africa. We deal with clients usually in the financial business, but we are also offering InvestGlass with the CRM to hospitals, private clubs, lawyers, fiduciaries, and more. So if you have any questions about the different use cases of InvestGlass, please let us know. Obviously, today we're going to look into InvestGlass as a robo-advisor, so for financial specialists. InvestGlass, what you're going to see now, costs 300 Swiss francs per user and per month. I want to emphasize the cost because this is very much the mindset of InvestGlass. We don't have a price different per client. We don't charge per BIPS or per AUM. We charge on a per seat license. So everything you're going to see now runs on InvestGlass, the digital solution, digital package, which costs 300 Swiss francs per user. Yes, that's amazing. Now, there are three ways of building the Robo-Advisor. The first way is the brick and mortar. So that's very, I would say, a pre-COVID, but perhaps a post-COVID too, where you meet face-to-face with the client, obviously with a mask, and you're going to onboard your client, asking him or asking her some questions about their profile questionnaire. Then the second way is the hybrids. Here, it's a mix between what the banker and what the client would do by filling in the questions together. That's a very common way now of answering Robo-Advisor. And obviously, the traditional Robo-Advisor is a do-it-yourself. It means that your prospects are going to answer those questions by themselves. Now, at which cost-income ratio should you start using a Robo-Advisor? When the Robo-Advisor is actually, I would say, hurting your added value, that's the first question you have to ask yourself. I think there could be a Robo-Advisor for any type of service. Would it be a family office, a brokerage, a business? Would it be a private bank or retail bank? Robo-Advisor are here now to stay, and it's not such a thing that you should not show to any clients. Obviously, some clients don't want to hear about those robo-advisory type of solution. Others will love to answer to those robo-advisory. Perhaps they want to show it to their friends. So that could also lead to new prospect coming in. So be open about the robo-advisor. That's my advice. Now, this presentation is going to last about 20-25 minutes. If you have any questions, or if you cannot watch the whole webinar, obviously you will find all the webinars into InvestGlass website, but you can also check our knowledge and guides on help.investglass.com, or just simply send us an email. We'll answer at any time, any day. So that's for the support and resources. So with no further ado, let's jump into InvestGlass and let's dive into InvestGlass application. Okay, so now what you see on my screen, it's InvestGlass. Most of you here will have more or less the same types of layout. Obviously, you might not have the same widgets. Your navigation menu might be slightly different too. Today, because we have attendance from France, the UK, and Switzerland mostly, we're going to show you what you can do in France, in the UK, and in Switzerland. We're going to build 3 different types of questionnaires. Some of them will be linked to a model portfolio, other will not be linked to a model portfolio. So we'll look first into these differences. And before we actually look into the differences of those different types of questionnaires, let's look into the data you're going to collect within InvestGlass. So for that, you go to My Account Company. And to My Account Company, you will have the view with the different record permissions in InvestGlass. So let me just start with this little detail. So the first element when you set up InvestGlass is to know who can create records. So for example, a contact, a relation, an account, and who can access this. This is a very broad type of setup of the who sees what. Okay, on your organization, if you have a new prospect, can anyone in the company see it? Is it a public or private? Okay, so that's the first element you have to look into, is the organization-wide default. The second element is in the fields you're going to collect. First, they might not be all the relevant fields. If this is the case, you can create new fields from InvestGlass My Account Company. So My Account Company, then here I'm on the custom fields. And here action, just create a new contact or a new account field. So let me create a new contact field. Here, you will find all the information that you need to fill in to make sure that you're going to record the right content, and this content will be seen in the right place by the right people. So first, the content. A contact field will have a name. Then we'll have a field label, which can be different from the name. The field label could be used, for example, in another language, or it can be a longer description of the field name, which could be just simply first name or last name. And here you'll put like first name or last name. But if you're married, then put your the name that you had before you were married, and this type of information, right? So field label is the field label that you will see into the application. A value set is going to be the set of values, like a list of countries, a list of associations that you will offer as a drop-down selection, right? So if I would look into this value set here, automatically you see the machine will offer me the drop-down or the checkbox version. Okay, let me put nothing. Then the input type. So here we have multiple types of input. So this input type will also influence your Robo-Advisor based on the questions you want to ask. So make sure that the input type that you have here are already the input type you want to use into your Robo-Advisory. Help information and default values. Don't worry too much about that, but this would help you partly if you're dealing with a value set and you want to set into your value set by default, you see a value here. Okay. You can also in value set show, refuse or accept values that are not into the value set. Now, where are you going to show those elements? That will be the elements for your CRM. I mean, it's not too much the topic of today's because we're going to focus on the Robo-Advisor, but here you can set up where you want to show it. And then very important, who can have access to those fields. Here you'll find different types of classification, usage, and compliance categorization. Very important, partly if you want to do GDPR categorization. In France, it's RGPD. And there you'll find even more filters. So who can actually change and read this information? Because you might want to use InvestGlass Robo-Advisory on your public forum, but you don't want everyone to look at the name of the new prospects, right? So this is how you're going to restrict the read and the edit access. Obviously, if you want to reduce even more this access, you can use what we call the visibility tags. So here I'm on my account, company, and members, my account, company, and members. And here per user, I can change the visibility tag. So this also is very helpful if you want to restrict, for example, for one specific colleague, an access for example, all the prospects. So that you will have one colleague into the company that will see only the prospects. If it's clients, they will not see it. Now, if you want them to be visible, just do this. So each time there's a new prospect signing in, boom, this will be visible. If it then becomes a client, it will also be visible to this user. So those are the very basic elements that you need to know before you start your collecting the data. Then you might want to start your own investments profile, because obviously the objective of a robo-advisor is to help to select different portfolio. For that, I suggest you to look into the robo-advisory and the portfolio creation. So here, this will reflect the portfolio models that you would have built, either because you build it yourself, or perhaps you're going to use another company or another software to create those model portfolio allocation. Those model portfolio allocation will work with any type of securities, bonds, equities, bitcoins, forex, derivatives. So that's very simple to just add them and create exactly the picture you want of your model portfolio. So we set up the fields, we created the model portfolio. Now it's time to look into those profiles and those onboarding forms. So to create an onboarding form, just go to my account, company, and then go down to forms. That is here. You will find into forms two types of forms, two types of, I would say, robo-advisors. The first one is the new form, which is going to create a form that is very basic and that will not have a model portfolio component. The other one is the investment profiler. Here you will be invited, or your prospect will be invited to select, based on his answers, the most accurate, the most relevant investment portfolio. So let's first look into the form. And we already pre-built some forms. So we're going to have a look into, I would say first, this Votre profil investisseur for France. Obviously, if you're in the UK, if you're in Hong Kong, or if you're wherever you are, it will be the same component, but let's look into this first. Okay. So let me click here on edit. Okay. So let me introduce you the different pages, and let's look into all the different options. So when you're going to start with this form, at the beginning, you won't have all those pages and all those questions, right? If you want to add a page, just click on Add Page, and you will put the title. My suggestion is, if you don't have any, if it's a very short type of form, you don't want to put a title, so just click on Skip. Then you have this page. Here is the first page, where I have some questions. So how do we build this? You're going to click on Edit Page, and you're going to have a drop down with those 5 options. Add a question means add a very simple questions like what's your first name, last name, stuff like that. Add a link means basically add a HTTPS link. Add a description. This is very helpful if you have a long text that you want to show. You will have also the possibility to chunk it. So if you have a terms of service that is very long and you want this terms of service to appear only into a 300 height pixel box, this is how you would do it. You would just put 300. And then you have what called a LaTeX description. So LaTeX, it's a very nice programming language which helps to create a very nice rendering that will be slightly different from the basic rendering that you would have here. Then you can hide a content that is partly important when you have to store some hidden values, and add child. So it won't be too much the topic of today's Robo-Advisor, because today Robo-Advisor will be very much contact driven and not account driven. So the difference between an account and a contact is Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith. Relation would be the Smith family, and the account will be account 100888, right? Why do we have an account level? Because on an account level, you can have multiple bénéficiaires finaux, conjoints in French, or beneficial owners, or limited power of attorneys in English. And this is how you would pull different types of data from the child answer. So it's not the topic of today, but you know that this exists. Then I'm going to add a question. So here I selected create a new question. Question means basically the content of the question. Then you can put a column name. This is very interesting if you wish later on to export your results into another software and you want to make sure that the content column is respected. Then you can link directly this field to a CRM field, another CRM field. So it can be obviously InvestGlass field, but it could be another solution too. And here it's very helpful because it means that all the data that you're going to collect from your Robo-Advisor is going directly to be stored inside the Robo-Advisor CRM in InvestGlass. There's no dual entry. Then you can select the type of fields you want to add. There are many types of fields, as you can see, from checkbox, data field, date and time, which is different from date field. Because you have the time. Then you have the drop down. You will find also file. So this is very helpful if you want to upload a file. Okay, so if you want to upload a file, you have to select file. Number, person, quantity, radio button, signature pad. So the signature pad is not official signature, is when you want to offer a signature on the iPad, for example. And as you see here, I cannot select the other fields. The reason for that is that the setup inside my custom field, so the very first setup we found here, you remember, here I already set a value type, which basically constraining here the questionnaire. So that's why it's important to start first from the custom field and then to look into the questions you want to ask and the format of those questions. Parent questions, it's very helpful if you have, for example, a hidden question. So if you have a logic, so for example, show only this question if the answer is blah, blah, blah. Here you see, if the answer is oui tout à fait, so yes, surely, or definitely, then you will find the question appearing. So that's very handy. And it works on default questions and answers. It's only closed answers. So it means that it's basically an answer that is predefined into a drop down or radio button type of layout. When you use this parent question, just make sure that you create all the questions first and then add the logic. Okay, otherwise the machine wouldn't know which is the parent's possibilities, right? Default answer, this is quite simple to understand. Mandatory means that you cannot submit the form if you did not answer this question. Then always show options on PDF or there's columns. So here it's more for the PDF rendering. We'll see this later. You can actually decide to show or not the options based on a question that will be answered or not. So once you added all those questions one after the other, you will be done with your questionnaire. This questionnaire, obviously, it's a questionnaire that is a form. Now, if we look into a questionnaire, let me show you now. Like this one with this kind of pie, which is Okay, here, this onboarding form for Robo-Advisor. Here, the difference, when you go to general, you'll find in the bottom all the profile selection. So the profile selection basically aims to create this donut style. You can add as many profile as you want. This is basically adding different types of risk. Here, I decided to have an approach which is standardized risk 1, standardized risk 2, standardized risk 3, etc., etc. Those are the different risk profile you would have if you're dealing with a MiFID or FINSA, LSFIN environments, where you will split the different answers based on the different, I would say, profile, but it can be also based on the different instruments that you will offer into your model portfolio that you find here. So that's why I show you first the model portfolio, because obviously your client risk classification is going to be linked to the model that you want to offer with the different instruments you have inside the model, and so forth and so on. Now, if I go back to my form here, if I take, for example, this system, you see here, this is one of our partners, Chrysalis in France. You can use Chrysalis to generate your model portfolio and then inject them into InvestGlass, and then you reuse it here into the system. So here, what are you going to see? Well, here, based on the questions, okay, so let me show you here a relevant question. Okay, here, so this is the knowledge and experience, adéquation et connaissance. Based on the answers that we have collected, you see, what is your feeling about the market? I'm pessimistic. Then I can actually put more weight on the profile that is relevant, okay? Or I can even block the profile if the client risk classification would follow to a portfolio that I cannot offer. So if you want, again, if you want to put a weight, it means that it's eligible, okay? Based on the answers, it will add more weight, which means that it will add more influence to go for this type of profile. If I want to block it because it's not anymore suitable, it's not anymore appropriate, based on the risk, based on the knowledge, based on the experience, based on the wealth, then here I can block the profile. Let me come back. So once you've done all this, then the Robo-Advisor is going to be alive, right? Because we ask the questions, we link them, and you can already start playing with it. So let me show you how this will look like. So now here, I would have into the Robo-Advisor the different pages. You see, I have 4 pages. The colors and everything you find here, so the different dots, all those elements can be set up directly from my account company. So let me show you that. So I go to my account. Okay, then I go here to settings. And inside the settings, I will have the design page. So for those using InvestGlass for a very long time, you will see we have now a variety of options that increased. What you want to change the color is this one, title. Here you want to change this color, for example, to a purple, or you can change the different colors here, right? So then what am I going to do? I'm just going to show you. I'm going to put an amount. I can select then a currency. You see here, this is checkbox. This is radio buttons. You see here, if I answer yes, this is going to show more questions. And as I'm changing the different answers here, you will find a different pie chart that will actually change here with different types of options. Okay, so this is how it would work. Obviously, if you would have a blocking answer, then one of those element of the pie chart will turn into black, gray, and means that it's not eligible anymore. Here is the options to load a file, and then I can submit. As you find here, the buttons, the colors, and the even if it's in French, you can put it into any language. I'll show you how to set up those elements right after. So now I have the answers. Everything you find here is absolutely customizable. Here I can override it and select for a 1 million portfolio a different solution. Okay, so if I would have backtesting and benchmark, this information will go here. And then here I can generate a PDF or generate an investment proposal. Generate a PDF means generating a PDF with your own layouts and colors. So here again, it's in my account company. You will upload your own logo into the main logo and change the colors here. And this will generate a beautiful PDF with the answers if you want to see the answers or not. So here, this is a very, very basic one. Let's look into the different options we have here. So let's go back into the profile of your Robo-Advisor, and let's look into the details of the general aspects here. So first, you're going to find the tags. The tags are very helpful if you want to collect different robo-advisory forms with different other forms. For example, if you would have like a OECD, risk classification, FATCA, or any types of questionnaires, this is the way to upload a robo-advisory form with a questionnaire. It's thanks to the tags and the tags package you have here. Then once the form is actually submitted, you want to warn some of your colleagues that the form is actually submitted. And here, just simply add all the members of your company you want to receive a message when the form is submitted. Then the ending message, this is partly relevant if you're using a form, not so much if you're using the pure Robo-Advisor. This is the ending message. And then it is very important if you host your Robo-Advisory page on your website to make sure that you add here your website page address. For that, you are going to use an HTTPS. This little S is very important. This prevents any type of cross-injection or phishing. So someone that would try to get your onboarding form in someplace else and then your website. So that's why it's important first to put your website address, and second, to make sure that you have a SSL encryption. If you have any doubts on that, we're happy to help you. Once you've done that, obviously, it means that you can put your form directly into your website. For that, let me show you. You go back to my account company. Let me just close perhaps some of those pages here. Okay, so let's look into the forms now. And let's look here on the three dots. You have the options. So first, once you finish your form, make sure it's active, yes. And then you can click on submit, on public share. When you click on public share, you'll find the option to generate a link that we call a generate new contact. It's always the first here. You click on share, and then here, click on iframe. Then go to your website editor. Here I'm using DV inside WordPress, and I'm just going to paste here the piece of code coming from InvestGlass. If your questionnaire is big, like the one you're going to find behind, we suggest you to put 1,200 or even more pixel in terms of 8. Then here you'll find the questionnaire. So if you have a look, this is on resources templates. And this is exactly the same type of questionnaire you've seen previously. So this questionnaire can be hosted on any public website. You can also host it behind the login and password of your own InvestGlass portal to create your own experience for your prospects, which means that your prospects will see the questionnaires, but not the clients because they're already onboarded, right? So this is the very basic of embedding a questionnaire. On all the forms, you can also put a title, a version number, and an internal ID. This is very important if you intend to change your Robo-Advisor questionnaire and your terms of service might change once every month or quarter. This is a way to track the Robo-Advisory with a version number. Here, I decided to show the model portfolio distribution. Otherwise, we will not see the pie charts. And then you'll find plenty of other options. One is to export all the questions and answers into the PDF that are generated. But you can also export only the questions that are mandatory. So all the irrelevant questions will not be visible. You can save then the proceeds of this PDF into the CRM documents of the contact and include the basic layout. So basic signature layout is helpful if you don't intend to have a qualified signature. This option allows customers to create an account during the checkout. It's extremely helpful if you wish to give portal access after someone answers your Robo-Advisor questionnaire. Again, this will be automatic. If you don't want to have an automatic creation of the portal, then we suggest you to put no, and you'll do this manually. You can store all the answers into a contact report. Oh, I'm sorry. So this is grant the access. This is create an account, and the other one is grant an access. So those are the different two options you want to put opt in or opt out. And then you can display the score at the end. Okay. And you have obviously different score fields. So that's very helpful if you have two scores into the same form. Then into the design. Into the design, you'll find different options. So you can decide the appearance of showing the form, onboarding form inside your app page. Okay, but you can also decide of showing it into the client portal. You can set up the background image. Here we had a little rowing boat. And you can also decide to put the buttons in French, in English, German, Chinese, Japanese, Hebrew, Arabic. And here show the different shapes of the buttons and where you want to show it. Why? Because if you have a very long form, obviously you want to have the buttons at the bottom and at the top, which will facilitate the browsing of the questionnaire. Then the permissions will facilitate the visibility. So you can here show it for your colleagues, your members, but you can also show it into your portal. And here you'll find the different options. First is to show the Robo-Advisor only if the form and the user share the same tags. So this is very helpful if you have a Robo-Advisory type of subscription for a product. And then here it's the KYC mandatory field. So this will be very helpful if you have a remediation issue or if you want to show form based on the different aspects of collected information. Okay, so we've looked into all the details of those forms. As you see, there are plenty of options, and then the look and feel will be different. So let's look into the three different types of forms. Here you will have this form that will be more like a profile style. So this is libre passage. So this is for the what we call the second and third pillar in Switzerland. Here we looked into this one. So it's with the donut when you want to show the different types of model portfolios linked to the answers. And this one also, I wanted to show it to you. It's a mortgage one here, with, as you find here, the next and the previous button on the top and the bottom. Okay, so all those options you see make InvestGlass Robo-Advisory very easy to use, but at the same time, if you want to have a sophisticated type of onboarding, you have all the tools that you need for that. Now, once you actually triggered all those Robo-Advisor, you want to automate even more. And for that, we suggest you to have a look into the automations. So my account company, and then go here into the automations. From here, so you would go from here, select your form, and then based on the form that you eventually find here, you select an automation. So the automation options are visible. Let me show you here. You'll find all the different options. So here, for example, updating a record will allow you to update and set, for example, a pipeline directly by clicking on prospecting or on new website leads to automatically qualify this prospect answering your robo-advisory questions. So all those options end-to-end will automate your lead acquisition. This is a fantastic way to build your robo-advisor. If you're starting your own neobank, you will find with InvestGlass all the tools you have, all the tools you need. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. We still have 10 more minutes, so if you have questions, please, you can write down your questions into the chat, and I'll answer your questions now. Thank you. So we have a question, is can we connect InvestGlass to a money laundering system? Yes. We work with companies like Polixis, Ardis, but also WorldCheck, and you can connect InvestGlass to those applications. So each time there's a new prospect showing in, then it will trigger an automation. You can find here into the products app exchange some of the companies we work with. We work also with other fintech, so don't hesitate to ask us for this type of connection. Will help you. So another question about the data collection and the API. So yes, InvestGlass has an API. So it is very simple. Go to app.investglass.com _API underscore docs, and you will find here our postman. Obviously, if you need any support for technical support on the API, send us an email at contact@investglass.com, and we'll help you to connect your API with InvestGlass. All right, thank you very much for attending this Robo-Advisor webinar. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, let us know. And I hope you'll have a lot of success with your onboarding and robo-advisory system of InvestGlass. Have a lovely day and speak to you soon.